sleeping for years. I'm not awake as I can be, but my seeing's better. I can see through the tears. I've been realizing that I bought this ticket and I'm watching only half of the show. And there is scenery and lights and a cast of thousands who all know what I know. And it's good that it's so. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up all your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing how. It's in every one of us, here and now. It's in every one of us, here and now. Good morning.
These guys are so great. Thank you, guys, and everybody, and girls also. So, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity of Charlottesville. This is a place, a spiritual center, which is open to people of all faiths, all religions, all creeds, all gender identity, all sexual orientation. Everybody is welcome here, and glad you're here this morning. Welcome to everybody online as well. And it's our tradition here, of course, to begin with prayer every morning. So I invite you to close your eyes and just take a moment of connection. We take time out of our busy day, out of our busy week, to come together in spiritual community and to remember. It's really all about remembrance. We remind each other of who we are. We support each other, knowing that we are of like-minded souls, really dedicated to becoming the highest and best version of ourselves in this world, really being a contribution in this world. And so we have a common interest. We want to say goodbye to ignorance, goodbye to bigotry, goodbye to limitation, goodbye to resentments and unforgiveness. We work on these things together and individually.
I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
That man can sing. Anyway, Reverend Mark Boston. Hello, it's time for the children to join Reverend Mark Boston for kids class this morning. Bye guys, have fun. And we have announcements.
Yeah, we're going to do things a little bit differently. We have some opportunities for transformation. We're going to start right off with that this morning. And let you know that this afternoon, it's actually starting at 11:30, is the Pride Fest downtown at Ix Park, and Unity will have a booth there. And you're welcome to go down and visit and just enjoy the day there at Ix Park. I think Maria's there with a lot of Unity volunteers right now.
And we have our Wednesday night mid-prayer service on Zoom at 6:30, and it ends at 7 o'clock. Please join everyone there. It's a wonderful, beautiful healing experience.
And this coming Wednesday, September 21st, is the second part of the Unity Basics class, Unity Basics 2, which is the teachings of Unity, what Unity teaches. So if you're curious to know more about Unity and what we teach and what you'll find being taught at any Unity church just about anywhere in the world, you can come on to Zoom. The link will be on the weekly email that we send out, and that's at 7:15 on Wednesday.
And,
Let's have Jing come up to do that.
oh.
Jing,
yes,
you want to come up
yes,
and...
yes, yes.
Good morning, everybody. So starting next Sunday, we're going to do start Kundalini meditation and yoga.
Videos will also be partnering with Reverend Michael Gott, who's the senior minister at Unity of Houston. And so it'll be a very interesting class. You can register online and find more information. And we're trying to encourage people to go to our website, our Unity website, at unitycharlottesville.org. And that's where you can find out about these events and also register online for these different events. So check that out.
And save the date. We have our Unity of Charlottesville's 2022 annual meeting. It will be happening on Sunday, October 16th, immediately following the service. And so now, let us share our mission statement together. Okay, together, Unity of Charlottesville empowers everyone to express their unique divinity, making a positive difference in the world.
Bird flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean. Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that is what I mean. And this old world is a new world and a bold world for me. Stars, when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. Freedom is mine, and I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a is gone. That is what I mean. And this old world is a new world and a bold world for me. Stars, when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. Freedom is mine. I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. I'm feeling good, feeling good. I'm feeling good.
Feeling good. Doug Schneider, Greg Harris, Jim Paulson, Blue O'Connell. Fabulous. Thank you, guys. Well, you know, years ago there was a TV commercial for the Olympics, and it started out with this Olympic diver, this woman, standing at the edge of the platform on the high diving board, and she's getting ready to dive. And then you hear the voice of the announcer, and the announcer says, "I wonder what she's thinking. I wonder if she's thinking how far it will be until she hits the water. Or I wonder if she's thinking about the angles that she'll have to make, or at what point in her dive she'll have to twist and turn. I wonder if she's thinking about her boyfriend. I wonder if she's thinking about her dog. I wonder if she's thinking what the chlorine will do to her hair." And then the camera cuts to the woman on the diving board, and she's looking out over the pool, she's looking out over the arena, and she smiles, and she says, "This is really cool." You know, there are two things that strike me about this commercial. The first is the nature of projection. I mean, we don't really know what other people are thinking, do we? But we make stuff up about it, right? We make stuff up about what they're thinking. And most oftentimes we're wrong, just like the announcer was wrong. But the second thing is about that moment, which is the moment of inexpressible joy. Just in the moment, in the present moment. The woman on the diving board was totally present in that moment to the "this is really cool" moment. How many of you still use the word cool when something happens? Yeah? So do I. That's embarrassing. Yeah. You know, there are lots of different words that mean the same thing. I looked in the dictionary. These are some of the synonyms for the word cool, right? Badass, chill, deaf, dope, Gucci, legit, lit, rad, savage, sick, sweet, wicked, all right, awesome, boss, copacetic, down, fab, keen, out of sight, peachy, radical, righteous, dynamite, hip, neat, nifty, peachy keen, and far out, right? Any of those words would do, but cool. Cool as God. The word I did not put up here is the word groovy. I could barely write it, and even in the times when it was popular, I could never say it. I just could not do it. It wasn't cool. I couldn't say the word groovy, right? So I want to show you, this is a prototype for an all-electric flying car. There are And this is an electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicle, two-seat vehicle. It flies 155 miles an hour, goes about 200 miles. There are over 200 companies working on different prototypes of this model. I think we should have one for Unity. It could land right in the center there in a circle. And Richard, you could go and pick people up, take them to church. It's only $180,000, right? Aren't these cool? I mean, really, very cool. Yeah, very cool. And what about this guy? This is, you may have heard about him this week. This is Yvon Chouinard. He is the founder of Patagonia Sporting Goods. And this week, he transferred ownership of his company that he's been founded 49 years ago. He's been working on it for 49 years. He transferred all of the ownership of this company to a nonprofit foundation to combat climate change. All of the profits from this company will go into combating climate change. They're starting with $3 billion. How cool is that, right? How cool. This is a road made of solar panels, and when this gets going, it's expected to generate about 14.5 trillion kilowatts of energy to power homes and other things. This is Capsule Mundi. This is a biodegradable burial pod, right? There are dead bodies. Whoops, dead bodies in here, right? And so when the body decays and dies, it will seed a new tree, saving on the expense, on space of concrete, lumber, all of these different costs from traditional burials. Much more ecologically sound. And this is the waxworm. The waxworm is able to eat and digest plastic, right? Even polyethylene, which is a non-biodegradable plastic that is the majority of the world is really being consumed by this particular plastic, polyethylene. The waxworm eats it and digests it. And this is a 3D house, a 3D printed house made from hemp. So to solve some of the world's housing crisis. So isn't all this stuff really cool? It's very cool. And of course, what's totally cool to me is not necessarily totally cool to you, right? Something that's being cool is really a subjective kind of thing. I was thinking about some cool experiences in my life, like the time I jumped out of a plane, or some of the wonderful travels I've done in Tibet and China and Australia and New Zealand, or how I sailed on 45 cruises. I was reminded the other day of an experience I had in high school with American Youth Hostel. This was a bicycle riding organization. American Youth Hostel organized a bicycle trip in New York City, a midnight bicycle trip, right? So there were thousands of bikes, and we started at the tip of Manhattan, and we rode up the east side, and we rode down the west side just in time to get to the Staten Island ferry for sunrise. And the streets were blocked off. It was totally quiet, totally silent, except for the whirring of the wheels of the bikes. And the streets were empty. It was just like New York was like a ghost city. It was incredibly cool. And what I've noticed about this is a really cool moment is that it seems to be accompanied with a feeling of expansion and exhilaration and excitement and joy also. I think that's the Olympic divers experience on the diving board, right? Can't you just see it? She's at the Olympics, right? She's at the Olympics. She's worked her whole life. She's trained for her whole life to get there. There are 1 billion people watching. She's at the top of her game. She's representing her country. And she just stops. She takes a moment. Whoa. This is really cool, right? I've had that feeling here at Unity countless numbers of times. When there's some beautiful music, when there's, one of our legendary celebrations, when everything in a service just seems to click. When I've been witness to one of our congregants' experiences, heroic and courageous experiences of overcoming a challenge. And the fact that we co-create this space together, and that I'm part of it, is to me totally cool. Teilhard de Chardin said that joy is the most ineffable sign of the presence of God. So what we're doing, why we're here, the mission that we have before us, what we've accomplished so far, is a kind of a much quieter feeling of joy and expansion of, kind of, this is really cool, right? Unlike children who are unabashed with their joy and their expression. I think that's one of the reasons we love them so much, right? Because they remind us of what it means to be authentic and spontaneous and joyful and in the present moment. So one time when Patricia and my nephew Gregory was here visiting from Maine, I bought a little foam rocket from Food Lion for $5. And those are the kinds of things you kind of pump them up and then you release them and the rocket goes up and over. And I took it into the house, something my mother said I should never do, by the way, right? And I didn't think it would go very far, but I totally miscalculated. This rocket took off. It whizzed by Patricia's brother's head and then Patricia's head. It just missed them by inches. And it smashed into the Christmas ornament on our mantelpiece and blew it into smithereens, right? And Gregory and I were thrilled and delighted. We were laughing hysterically. We both felt this is really cool. Not so Patricia and her brother, by the way. And I could hear my mother's voice in my head, don't break this inside of the house. You'll shoot your eye out, right? We're told that in Scripture that Jesus loved children. And here's what he said in Matthew 18:1. He said, at that time, the disciples came to Jesus and asked, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? He called a child whom he put among them and said, truly I tell you, unless you change and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me. So over the past few months, I've showed you some clips from an internet series called The Chosen. This is a wonderfully creative and beautiful dramatization of the life of Jesus. And here's a scene with Jesus talking with some children.
I'm telling you this because even though you are children and the elders in your life have lived longer, many times adults need the faith of children. And if you hold on to this faith really tightly, someday soon, you will understand all of what I'm saying to you. But you ask an important question, Abigail. What is my reason for being here? And the answer is for all of you. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. He has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim liberty to the captives and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor.
Isaiah.
Isaiah, I have loved spending this time with you. You are all so very special. And I hope that my next students ask the same questions you do, and that they listen to my answers. But I suspect they do not have the understanding you do. And I hope that when the time comes, they will tell others about me, like you have.
So what does it mean that unless we be like children, we can't enter the kingdom of heaven? And of course, metaphysically, in unity metaphysical interpretation, the kingdom of heaven is not a place, it's a state of consciousness. So unless we be like children, we can't have the experience of that state of consciousness. What qualities of children is Jesus talking about? Spontaneity, innocence, joy, love, forgiveness, faith. Have you ever seen a young child hold a grudge? You know, a small child can hit someone over the head, another kid over the head with a toy, and the other kid will cry and maybe hit him back over the head with a toy, and then 5 minutes later they're both laughing and playing together as if nothing happened, right? The comedian Ray Romano was once talking about his 5-year-old daughter, and he was driving along in the car. His daughter was sitting in the back seat, and the window was open, and she was staring out the window with this huge smile. And Ray Romano would look in the rear view mirror. He would see her smiling, and he would just check back every 5 minutes or so. He'd look back, and finally, he said to her, "What are you thinking? What are you thinking about?" And she said, "Candy." And Ray Romano offered some reflections on his daughter's words. He said, "When I think of candy, I think sweet, cavities, dentist, dental bills. What if something goes wrong? How am I going to pay for it?" Something happens to the innocence and joy. Somehow we allow ourselves to get burdened and overwhelmed by life. What happened to the joy and the authenticity of that moment that we felt so often as children? So Don Miguel Ruiz shares some insights in this book, The Voice of Knowledge, and you remember him probably. He's the author of The Four Agreements, and I'm going to have Doug read to you this.
I remember waking up, seeing my mother's face, and feeling overwhelmed with a desire to grab her. I didn't know that this emotion was called love. I felt the same way about my toys, and about the cat, and the dog too. I remember seeing my father come back from work and running to him and jumping on him with so much joy, with a big and beautiful smile, completely authentic. I could be naked and I didn't care what people thought. I used to be myself, whatever I was, because I didn't have knowledge. I didn't have a program in my head. I didn't know what I was, and I didn't care to know. Just as a dog doesn't know that it's a dog, but it acts like a dog, barks like a dog. Well, I used to be like that. I lived my life through my integrity. This was my true nature before I learned to speak. I continued to explore my childhood memories, and I discovered that something happens to all of us. What happens? Well, knowledge happens. I can remember starting to learn words. I learned the names of every object I perceive. I learn a language, which is great. Now I can use words to ask for what I want. Months later, or maybe years later, my mind is mature enough for abstract concepts. With these concepts, something incredible happens. I start to create stories by qualifying everything. What is right or wrong, what I should or shouldn't be, what is good or bad, beautiful or ugly. I learned from my parents, not just what they say, but what they do. I learn what they say not just to me, but what they say about other people. I learn how to interact. I copy everything that I see. I see my father, very powerful with his strong opinions, and I want to be like him. I can hardly wait to grow up to have an opinion of my own. When I finally understand the language, almost everybody begins to tell me what I am. The way I learn about myself is by hearing the opinions of the storytellers around me. My mother creates an image of me based on what she believes I am. She tells me what I am, and I believe her. Then my father tells me what I am, and it's something completely different. But I agree with him too. Of course, each of my brothers and sisters has an opinion of me, and I agree with them. Surely they know more than I do, even though I'm the one who lives in this physical body. None of this makes sense, but I'm having fun. Then I go to school, and the teacher tells me what I am, which is still okay. until she tells me the way I should be, but I am not. I agree, and the problem begins in that moment. I call this the lie of my imperfection.
When we're having a this is really cool moment, the lie of imperfection is not present. What is present in that moment is total perfection. We're totally alive, we're totally present to the joy of that moment, just like the Olympic diver on the diving board. And that feeling of joy, that feeling that this is really cool, I think comes in a moment of great presence of mind, where our senses are awake and our senses are enlivened. And we feel a really, I think, feel a really deep sense of appreciation in that moment as well, a feeling of gratitude in that moment for what's going on all around us. In the Hindu and Buddhist traditions and other traditions as well, there's a description called the witness. And the witness is that silent part of us that is always observing, even when we're not aware of it. And you may realize that you're having this experience. I think everybody has this experience that when you're thinking a string of negative thoughts or negative emotions, and you suddenly become aware that you're thinking a string of negative thoughts and negative emotions, you become aware that you're thinking the thoughts. You become aware of what you're thinking. That some part of you is observing the thought process as you're thinking. That's the witness. And in that awareness or in that recognition comes the moment, or comes the awareness that you realize you have the power to change the direction of that thought stream in that moment, that you can actually choose to do something different. So the question is, who is observing you, right? Who is thinking the thoughts? And there was a great Indian saint, Ramana Maharishi, who said that if you can answer this question from a really deep place of knowing, this would be a path to enlightenment, to really understanding who you are, right? Because who is observing you? Who is thinking the thoughts? You are. They're your thoughts. You're the thinker. You're the one having the experience. And a part of you is unconscious or unaware of the negative thoughts and the effect on you and the effect on your environment, and then you wake up to it. You just become conscious. You become aware. And in that moment, then you know you can make another choice. And as we get more deeply into the practice of meditation, the witness, or the silent witness, as it's sometimes called, becomes more present as an awareness of that part of us which is larger than we thought we were, larger than we thought we knew. And it's that part of awareness that is even aware, even conscious, while we're sleeping and dreaming. And maybe it's that same part of us that gets to notice that when we're in the midst of some activity, there can be a moment of heightened awareness. And with that feeling, when that feeling, this is really cool, comes and suddenly dominates our awareness. And so I was thinking about this, do you think we could cultivate the really, this is really cool moment? Do you think we could cultivate it? That's a good question, I must say. I thought of it. And I think that this is really cool moment. It happens unexpectedly, right? Oftentimes unexpectedly. So I remember having that feeling when I saw the first images from the James Webb Telescope. You remember the first image you saw from the James Webb? This is really cool, right? And there are more images coming. This is really cool. So I think it happens unexpectedly, but I think also we can also cultivate it. I think we can cultivate a receptivity to this is really cool moment, and I think we do it by being grateful. I think it comes with a moment of gratitude, a moment of presence, a moment of heightened consciousness when we've transcended the lie of imperfection. we've transcended the lie of imperfection. When we've lowered our resistance, we've lowered our anxiety, and we're present to the infallible joy and beauty of a moment. And so I want to invite you this week to take a moment to step back from a situation. Just survey your surroundings. Become aware of what you're feeling in that moment. And what is there to be grateful for in that moment? What is it that you could be aware of if you weren't so tied into agendas or egos or worrying or anxiety? What is in that moment that makes you aware of the presence of joy that's already present, but that you may have been closed off to resisting? And then you can, I think, repeat after me, this is really cool. This is really cool. Yeah, there you go. All right, let's prepare for meditation.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to
readied our souls, I invite you just to go even deeper into this time. Relaxing and settling down, becoming aware of any tensions in the body and letting them go. Feeling your feet firmly planted in the ground and the earth. What a gift it is to have this time. All of us have had our this is really cool moments. I want to invite you to bring to your awareness a time or an experience where you had that moment. This is really cool. That moment of extreme gratitude and appreciation for something maybe unexpected or something that you've been working on. Bring that scene to your awareness. It could be something as quiet as looking into the eyes of a loved one, or as dynamic as jumping out of a plane or climbing a mountaintop and sitting on the peak. A moment when you felt, this is really cool. And I want to invite you to get into the feeling of that moment. What were you feeling in that moment? Did you feel joy? Did you feel expansion, spaciousness, exhilaration? Awareness, energy. What did your body feel like? And what if we could futurize this? What if we could ask the question, what would really be cool? What would be really cool in the future? Would it be cool that there would be no more hunger in the world? The children would be safe? That people treated each other with respect? What would really be cool in your personal life? If such and such and such happened, that would be really cool. I'd like to invite us to take some time in the silence using the power of our imagination to imagine for yourself what would really be cool in your life if it happened. Let's take some time now in the silence. something that is really cool or something that would be really cool. Just the fact that we're able to do this together, to sit in silence, in a group, in community. How cool is that? So our invitation this week is to be present. Be present to these moments. Look around, survey, step back. Transcend the lie of imperfection. It was never true. And we cultivate an awareness of gratitude and appreciation. Even alertness to the unexpected. And so it is. Well, let's take a few moments to gently open the eyes when it feels comfortable and bring our awareness back to this room.
So I hope I can get the words out that are in my heart right now, because I feel challenged and my heart is so overflowing for love for these two men. Reverend Don, you are very, very cool. You are so cool. You are so cool. On so many levels, we are so blessed to have you as our senior minister. And Doug, your voice, your spoken word, your love for all of us, and the way you share it when you show up. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We love you. We love you. We're so blessed to have you both. I could gush and gush and gush. Huh?
You're quelling.
And all of you, we are so grateful for you all, and we love you all, because if it weren't for you, we wouldn't exist. Truly, truly, your tithes, your gifts, your offerings. But before I get to talking about the opportunity to give back all this love and joy and beauty we've experienced here today, I want to welcome anyone who's here for the first time. Is anyone here for the very first time? Yay, hi, welcome. Welcome. You two are very cool. Everyone that comes here is very cool. Anyone else? Anyone else? All right. Well, thank you. Thank you all. And so, and anyone online that might be joining us for the very first time, we love you, we bless you, and hope you'll join us again, and maybe come here, and we'll meet you face to face. There are many ways to give to Unity of Charlottesville. Online, text to give. It is so easy to text to give. You text to 844-636-0061. You put in the amount you want to tithe, and there you have it. It's so incredibly easy. Or you can give here into our butterfly net. Yes, as Barbara comes along with our butterfly net, feel free to utilize our very cool butterfly net. So I'm on this cool kick now, guys. Blessing, let's bless our tithes and offerings, not just financial tithes, but Jing, thank you for your offering of Kundalini Yoga. If I could get there, I would, but I've got to be here rehearsing in the morning. So, but all of your offerings, all of your tithes, bless you, bless you, bless you. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
There's a new church on the horizon, made of light, not of stone, calling out to all creation. You are not alone. Lions and lambs, saints and sinners, best of friends, enemies, woman and man, losers and winners, they are all in you and me. We are one heart, looking for answers. We are one soul, finding our way through the dark. One dream we share together. Yes, we are all a part of one heart. You're really cool, Greg. Out in the cold, there are faces hidden by the wind and the rain. Hold out your hand, someone will take it and bring you home again. We are one heart, looking for answers. We are one soul, finding our way through the dark. One dream we share together. Yes, we are all a part of one heart. Out in the world tonight, the fires are burning. Tears are falling from the sky. Still the world keeps turning. We are one heart, one soul, one dream we share together. Yes, we are all a part. We are one heart, looking for answers. We are one soul, finding our way through the dark. One dream we share together. Yes, we are all a part of one heart. Yes, we are all a part of one.
Bravo! Okay. So we have a couple of more messages. Our pastoral care team. If you are in need of pastoral care, you can email pastoralcare@unitycharlottesville.org or call our office. And also virtual fellowship. We still have virtual fellowship. Immediately following the peace song, if you're on Facebook, look for a link in the chat. And from unitycharlottesville.org website, click on the Sunday Services tab.
Next week, Weathering the Storm. Let's bring our children up.
We are walking in the fire.
Boston, your youth director here at Unity of Charlottesville. And there is something special about unity and cohesion within a group. It is a very special thing, and we all know what happens when we feel the opposite and the pain and hurt that it can cause. What did we do today to demonstrate and illustrate what oneness and unity looks like? Would anybody like to tell what we did today first? Matthew, what did we do today?
Well, we... Did we do today? Yeah, we hid the puzzle pieces. And we write on what we're hard at doing and good at doing.
So we wrote down some of the things that keep us from being united, right? Do you want to write down the thing or the word or the phrase or the virtue that keeps you from being united? What word is on your
Willing to work with others. Cooperation.
All right. Thank you, Matthew. Matthew needs to work on his cooperation skills. Go figure.
So we did, we wrote down puzzle pieces, and we talked about examples in the world that keep people from being united. We wrote them down on a board. Mine was that I hold anger and resentment towards people that I particularly just have, that particularly are aggressive, or just people that, are, they might have, I might not think that they might have problems or something. So I think that that's the biggest thing, anger, like me feeling mad. I feel like I have to work on that particular thing.
All right. Thank you, Kia, for sharing. Marley, would you like?
I have to work on working with others. I feel like one of the biggest examples of this is just like projects or everyday things. I just want to do everything by myself because I feel like I can just do it, just do it adequately by myself, the best by myself. But working with others is also sometimes I just feel like I need help, and working with others lightens the load and makes it way easier. So just willing to work with others and teamwork.
The few words that I have to work on is fear, because sometimes I have fear for a lot of things, anger, and trust.
I have to work on trust, teamwork, cooperation, loyalty, and confidence.
I have to work on accepting myself, trusting others, and fearing less.
Thank you all. And on a final note, we are all one in Christ consciousness, and the things that divide us simply do not matter as much as the fact that the Christ consciousness is what makes us all one. Let us say the blessing together. Children, Uniteens, YOUers, teachers and parents, you are loved, special, and important. Thank you. Amen.
Amen.
So we have just to thank everybody for the service this morning. Thanks Greg and Carol, who undertook some technical challenges while Mercury was in the Everglades. We thank our blessing team, Ellen Sullivan and Barbara King, and Diana's back there as well. and Don Brady in the bookstore, and Healing Helpers will be here right after the service, and Peggy is here. If anyone has any personal prayer requests, she'll be up front. Thank you, everybody, for being here this morning. Thanks, everybody online, for watching. Thank you, Doug and Greg. Always so wonderful to have you guys here. Wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Jim Polson, Urukami. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Don.
And thank you, Janice, for being our celebration assistant today. Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
please, let's stand and do our prayer for protection. And together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and wherever God is, all is well and totally cool.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be my joyous love. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in perfect harmony. All I gotta go. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Have a totally cool day, guys.
Oh, that was so much fun. Thanks, guys.